Obviously start all over again. Good morning, dear TV friend, and thanks for joining us on another edition of your morning infotainment program, Salve, Vicinus, that comes to your screens every morning as from 7 a.m., bringing you amazing slots to educate you, to entertain you, to inspire you, and of course to inform you. We are here in those studios this morning because you are there, right there, watching us this day. So as we always begin our program, we always want to give hope to our viewers, to our TV friend out there, to all those who hope on Christ that one day your situation is going to change, God is going to listen to you, and things are going to get better. With you this morning, I am Magdalene Wondo, and we're going to take on this very beautiful musical interlude. When we come back, we're going to continue with more on the program to inspire you. Before we get to that beautiful musical interlude, we just want to let you know it's our Thursday edition and we're doing some reminiscing, we're doing some throwback on our talking point today. Maybe you want to remember something you've done for someone this day or something you've done for someone recently that makes you very happy and fulfilled for doing that thing. Of course, when we talk of something, it must not be material. It could be a service you rendered for that person. It could be a prayer you offered for that person. It could just be a listening ear you offered to that person that made the person very relieved and happy talking to you. It's very important to always be there for your brothers and sisters, the people you call your loved ones, and of course even strangers who come to you seeking for your help, because we do not know, you could just be a life changer for that person. So it's very important to always render services to people out there regardless of who they are. Once you know you have that talent or you have the energy to offer to that person, it's very important to offer to that person because you do not know who you might be saving at that particular moment. So let's get to this musical break where we are going to be inspired by the song to just feel comfortable. Of course, always watching Salve Vicinus and feel in tune, to stay tuned to Divine Mercy Radio Television for more amazing and interesting slots that will be coming your way.
You know it's prayer time. Say a prayer for the lonely sailor boy out in the sea, wishing he was here with us. You know it's prayer time. Say a prayer for the hungry children, no food to eat, not a place to call their home. And now the mist, the joy and laughter, oh, it doesn't take a time to wonder. It doesn't hurt to say your prayer. Ooh, say your prayers for the lonely sailor boy. Ooh, say your prayers for the children in the city. The joy and laughter, oh, it doesn't take a time to wonder. It doesn't hurt to say a prayer. You know it's prayer time. Say a prayer for the lonely prisoner out in the sand, wishing he was here with us. Prayer time. Say a prayer for the hungry children, no families, not a place doesn't hurt to say your prayers. Ooh, say your prayers for the lonely sailor boy. Ooh, say your prayers for the children in the city. They miss the joy and laughter. Oh, it doesn't take a time to wonder. It doesn't hurt to say your prayers. It doesn't hurt to say your prayers.
Thank you very much, Jessie, for that very beautiful piece. It is a very warm, or it's a very quiet morning, and of course, it's a very perfect time for you to meditate a little. You might want to take 10 to 15 minutes this morning and just meditate, sit in a quiet corner, and just reflect on a lot of things happening in your life. It's going to help you a lot throughout the day. So, we're going to get to our reflection of the day, of course, to meditate on the words of God, the readings of today, and some very reflective words from the priest, Reverend Father Maxwell Ewang. So let's get to our reflection and find out what we have to meditate on today.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to the Jews, "Were I to testify on my own behalf, my testimony will not be valid. But there is another witness who can speak on my behalf, and I know that his testimony is valid. You sent messengers to John, and he gave his testimony to the truth. Not that I depend on human testimony. No, it is for your salvation that I speak of this. John was a lamp, a light and shining, and for a time you were content to enjoy the light that he gave. But my testimony is greater than John's. The works my Father has given me to carry out, these same works of mine testify that the Father has sent me. Besides, the Father who sent me bears witness to me himself. You have never heard his voice. You have never seen his shape, and his word finds no home in you, because you do not believe in the one he has sent. You study the scriptures, believing that in them you have eternal life. Now these same scriptures testify to me, and yet you refuse to come to me for life. As for human approval, this means nothing to me. Besides, I know you too well. You have no love of God in you. I have come in the name of my Father, and you refuse to accept me. If someone else comes in his own name, you will accept him. How can you believe, since you look to one another for approval and are not concerned with the approval that comes from the one God? Do not imagine that I am going to accuse you before the Father. You place your hopes on Moses, and Moses will be your accuser. If you really believed him, you would believe me too, since it was I that he was writing about. But if you refuse to believe what he wrote, how can you believe what I say?" The Gospel of the Lord. Today's Gospel presents Jesus telling the Jews that his testimony alone is not enough to prove his authority. But there are other weaknesses to his legitimacy. He names 5 weaknesses to his divine mission. 5 weaknesses that proclaim him the Messiah. 5 weaknesses that testify to the truth of his words. The first weakness is God the Father, who sent Jesus. Those who have God's word abiding in their hearts will recognize the Father's weakness. This is a convincing testimony to those who are sincerely open to God. The second weakness is John the Baptist, a human weakness in which his listeners had rejoiced. He had pointed out Jesus as the one who is to come, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. The third weakness was the wonderful works of Jesus, his healings, his miracles, his very goodness. This testimony, Jesus says, is even greater than John's. His works speak for themselves. By their fruits you shall know them. The fourth weakness is Holy Scripture, the Psalms, the wisdom books, the writings of the prophets. Jesus tells his listeners to search the Scriptures because they also testify to Jesus. He is fulfilling all that they say about him. The fifth weakness Jesus cites is the great prophet Moses, the lawgiver. By Moses is meant the first 5 books of the Bible known as the Pentateuch. Moses wrote about Jesus, and if you believed Moses, you would then believe me. This was the Lord's well-ordered answer to the Pharisees, who were forever objecting to his works of healing on the Sabbath day. How much of all this applies to us? Where do we ultimately put our faith? In the Christ of the New Testament or in a Jesus we have tailored to our own wants? How familiar are we with the Word of God in the New and Old Testament? Where do we clearly see the risen Jesus bringing God into our lives every single day? In speaking of the testimony that confirms who he is, Jesus reminds us to seek the truth in his words and to believe in him as the source of life. He reminds us to trust in God's works and promises rather than seeking only human approval. Lent is a good time to focus on knowing Jesus better through God's word. May we open our hearts to God and follow his path with faith and love. Let us pray. Lord, thank you for your mercy and love. Help us to remain faithful to you even when we face challenges. Teach us to pray for others and trust in your word. Guide us to live in your truth and walk in your ways. Amen. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
And of course, let us follow the path of the Lord with faith and love, because He's going to lead us through all our challenges. Despite your weakness, despite your difficulty, despite your challenge this day, always turn to God, because He has the final say. He has the only word that is going to be comforting and soothing to your heart. So it's very important to always turn to God in our good and bad times, because He alone has the final say in our lives. So thank you very much, Father Maxwell Ewang, for treating us to reflection. Of course, the words were very inspiring, and we hope our viewers out there are meditating on these words today to better their lives. Of course, all of us better our lives and be better children of God. So we're going to take on the saints of the day, where we are Sister Florence Awambeng, who treat us to who the church is celebrating today, who this day is designated for as the saints, and how we can in our own ways emulate the lifestyle of these saints to better our lives as children of God. So let's get to Sister Florence this morning.
Good morning, dear brothers and sisters. We thank God for the gift of a new day. Today, the 3rd of April, we celebrate the feast of St. Richard, Bishop. St. Richard was born in England. From his childhood, he spent most of his time carrying out pious exercises and his studies. His greatest pleasure was to render services to others. He later went to Paris to continue his studies, where he earned a master's degree in arts and moved to Italy to study canon law. Richard was summoned back to France and was ordained priest. He was later elevated to the post of a bishop. During his period as bishop, he encountered many obstacles. He encountered many obstacles, but he governed his diocese with firmness and maintained ecclesiastical discipline. He was noted for his charity to the poor. He suffered much in the hands of the King Henry III, but he remained steadfast in his work until he became sick and died. From childhood, he spent his time carrying out works, pious exercises, and his studies. From childhood. His greatest pleasure, that's where I want us to settle. His greatest pleasure was to render services to others. The only thing that made him happy was when he was doing something for another person, dear brothers and sisters. Selflessness as a Christian. Selfless service as a Catholic to the other person. So it's time we move out of me, my, I, to the other person. Helping out. That virtue is dying off in our society today. Stretching a hand of help. The society has become so bad in such a way that even when you are good, you are afraid to help people so that you don't get into trouble. We see it every day. I know many people who have, out of goodwill, gone out of their way to help people, and they have landed into trouble. But, dear brothers and sisters, as a Catholic, as a Christian, will you stop doing what you are supposed to do because you are afraid of trouble? I am a living witness. Personally, I've entered all kinds of trouble because I'm trying to help the other person. But is it enough to use that as an excuse, as a reason for you not to help people in need? I am asking this question because it's difficult for me to answer. I have lived it. But I've come to realize that that's not an excuse. God sees, and God will always rescue you. I know many people who find it very, very difficult to stretch out their hands to another person to help, whether big or small, because people have helped out and they have ended up being in pain. Some ended up in jail. But dear brothers and sisters, I am thinking that it is not enough reason why you should stop doing good. The truth will set you free, no matter how much persecution you have to go through. It's a very, very sad situation. But that's what the society presents itself. What do? We have a mandate from Jesus Christ. And I think we have the right to follow the mandate of the Lord. Help out as much as you can. But be careful. That's the way I can put it. Be careful. People find it difficult now this way because there are so many people who come and pretend they are liars. People have helped and they ended up being persecuted. Be attacked by robbers. We can go on and on. But dear brothers and sisters, if you have encountered that, that's not the reason why you should give up. All you need is to do is to be more careful as you stretch out a helping hand. But help, you must help. Like St. Richard, the only thing that he enjoyed doing was to help the other person. I'm sure he too faced persecution, but he carried on. Let the society not drag you to lose your faith. Let what is happening in the society now not make you drift out of your Christian duty. No, it should instead make you wise and stronger. Jesus Christ was persecuted, did he not? Was he not? So what of you and I? So think about it, dear brothers and sisters, and know exactly what to do, when, and how. And God will bless you. We wish all those who go by the name Richard that through the intercession of St. Richard, all of us will continue to be kept away from danger, especially when we want to stretch a helping hand to the other person. Thank you for always being there. God bless us all. Amen.
Many thanks to you, Sister Florence Awambeng, for always being there to treat us to our saint of the day. Of course, we are celebrating Saint Richard today, and we say a happy feast day to all those who go by the name Richard. And of course, let's be able to emulate the life of the selflessness. That's a virtue of selflessness that Saint Richard had throughout his life. Let's be able to do things pleasing to God. Let's not be carried away by the pressures of the society. If you have to do good for someone, do it well. Just like the topic says, maybe you want to remind us or yourself of one thing or one good thing you've done, one nice thing you've done recently to somebody. It still relates to our patron saint we are celebrating today. Selflessness, that's the virtue we are all called upon to carry today, and to be better persons, to be better Christians, to be better friends in the society, to love one another as we want ourselves or want to be loved. So it's very important to practice the virtue of selflessness today in order for you to be a better person, to put a smile on someone's face out there. Do not let the societal pressure or the societal ills to bring you down, from that virtue we are called upon to uphold this morning. So we're going to take on this musical break, and when we come back, we'll dive straight away into news in the English language this morning. Thank you very much, Jesse, for that very, very beautiful musical piece. Of course, our hearts always hunger for God, and that's why we give him all the praise and the honor because He is our only God. So we're going to take on our divine mercy in for this moment, and we're going to begin straight away with Caritas in the Diocese of Boya, where heads of diocesan institutions of the Diocese of Boya have been encouraged to report to the Office of the Social Security any of their worker who is not registered under the Social Security system. This call was made by the supervisor of the newly established Social Security Office, Kilian Sefomo, during a meeting with Caritas staff April 2nd, 2025. This meeting was aimed at ensuring the welfare of diocesan workers. Details with Nadesh Nenchume.
Staff members of Caritas Diocese of Boya gathered at the Caritas building for a meeting with Sefomo Kilian to address ongoing challenges related to social welfare for workers in the diocese. This follows a recent communique from His Lordship Michael Bibi, who has been tasked with overseeing the welfare of diocesan workers and resolving their social welfare issues.
The step that we have taken this time around is to carry out a census to make sure that all the workers are inside our account, and to make sure that those who had problems with the account should be updated. So the bishop has taken this as a priority and asked us to do everything we can to make sure that every worker feels satisfied when it comes to benefits from social insurance fund and preparation for their retirement.
After visiting several diocesan institutions like the Catholic Printing Press and Divine Mercy Radio Television, he reassured workers that their social security issues would be examined and resolved in the coming days.
I think that the worries of the workers have been the same as usual, but this time around they are being assured that those worries will be looked into and properly examined. So they have been talking about family allowances, they have been talking about maternity leave, they have been talking about pension. So the bishop's priority has been to make a census to make sure that the account of every worker is updated.
The director of Caritas Diocese of Boya, Pierre Chindar, applauded the bishop's initiative and expressed his commitment to working closely with the Social Security Office.
Going to always come very close to that office that the bishop has created to seek advice and to guide us. The good thing, the good information is that all our workers are declared at the CNPS, and we are paying all the contribution and all the taxes.
Sefomo Kilian encouraged heads of diocesan institutions to report to the office if they notice any worker not fully registered under the Social Security system.
Institutions should report to us immediately those who are just employed through the Department of Human Resource. Make sure that let nobody stay at the job site without being registered.
The Social Security Office, located at the basement of the co-cathedral, works in close collaboration with the Human Resource Office to ensure that diocesan workers receive the Social Security benefits they are entitled to.
And still in the Diocese of Boya, the funeral program of the late priest of the Diocese of Boya, Reverend Father Nicholas Happy, has been made public. According to the program sent out April 1st by the Chancellor of the Diocese, the masses will take place on Wednesday 9th and Thursday 10th. Jude Mbako has the full readout of the program.
April 1, 2025, to all Monsignors, all clergy, members of the Institute of Consecrated Life, all societies of Apostolic Life, all lay faithful, Diocese of Boya, dear brothers and sisters, funeral program for Father Nicholas Happy. On behalf of the Bishop of the Diocese of Boya, His Lordship Michael Miabesur Bibi, I write to communicate to you the funeral program of late Father Nicholas Happy, priest of the Diocese of Boya, who slept in the Lord on March 27, 2025 at the Patro Pio Hospital in Douala. On Wednesday, April 9, 2025, 4 p.m., removal of the mortal remains from the Mount Mary Hospital mortuary and procession to the Regina Pacis Cathedral, Sumosopo. 5 p.m., Office of the Dead. 6 p.m., First Requiem Mass with the people of God of Boya Diocese. 9 p.m., Second Requiem Mass with the Provincial Association of Diocesan Priests. Thursday, April 10, 2025, at 12 a.m., Third Requiem Mass with the parishes Father Nicholas Happy served in All Saints Parish, Mutengene, St. Charles Luanga Parish, Moliko, Immaculate Conception Parish, Great Support, Military, and Our Lady of Great Shrine, Sase. 3 a.m., Fourth Requiem Mass with the immediate family, classmates, and friends. 6:30 a.m., Fifth Requiem Mass with small support Christians. 9 a.m., Funeral Mass at Regina Pacis Ceremonial Ground and burial at the Cathedral Cemetery, small support Boya.
Thank you, and may the soul of Father Happy continue to rest in peace. We take you now to Rome for the 20th anniversary of the death of Pope John Paul II. In Rome, April 2nd, 2025, Cardinal Pietro Parolin has presided at the Mass marking the 20th anniversary of the death of Pope St. John Paul II. During his homily, he commemorates the legacy of a pontiff who profoundly shaped the church and the world. Let's have details with Bernard Asongne.
Reflecting clearly on Pope John Paul II's final moment 2 decades ago, Cardinal Pietro Parolin has recalled the powerful images of the Pope embracing the cross during the Way of the Cross, his silent Easter Sunday blessings from the window overlooking St. Peter's Square, and the immense crowd that gathered to bid farewell to their shepherd. The Vatican Secretary of State was celebrating Holy Mass in St. Peter's Basilica on April 2nd, 2025, the exact date which records the passing into glory of Pope John Paul II on April 2nd, 2005. In the presence of clergy, religious dignitaries, and faithful who gathered to commemorate the late pontiff in a spirit of gratitude and joy. Drawing from the Gospel of John, the Cardinal reflected on the deep faith that guided John Paul II throughout his life. This conviction, he said, sustained the late Pope in his unwavering mission, leading him to face challenges with extraordinary courage and faithfulness. Highlighting the Polish Pope's profound sense of living under God's gaze and the transparency of his life before God, the Cardinal noted that it was the foundation of his fearless witness to the truth, his unyielding defense of human dignity, and his tireless proclamation of the gospel.
Non ha alcuna paura dello sguardo degli uomini. E qui sta certamente uno dei fondamenti dello straordinario coraggio e della costanza della testimonianza di fede di Giovanni Paolo II davanti agli uomini in ogni situazione, in tutta la sua vita e in tutta l'eccezionale durata del suo pontificato.
As the entire faithful recall so well the Pope's recognition of divine providence in his own life, everyone is called to turn to him in prayer as the Pilgrim Church hopes continuously for his blessings for a wounded humanity in search of its dignity and vocation.
And as to what concerns health, medical practitioners, international bodies, among other health institutions, have called on all to create an inclusive society to accommodate persons living with autism. This as the world commemorates the International Awareness Autism Day on 2nd day of April 2025. Sama Eileen spoke with a medical doctor on what the developmental condition is all about and measures needed to create an inclusive environment for all suffering from this disability. Her report.
Annually on April 2, the international community commemorates World Autism Awareness Day, during which the United Nations encourage member states to take measures to raise awareness about autistic individuals worldwide.
Autism spectrum disorder is a set of disorders which are characterized by interactive deficits in children and even in adults. Autism presents in every age. It can present in any age group, and you can diagnose it as early as when the child is less than 1 year old. The diagnosis of autism essentially is made by a medical practitioner or a properly trained healthcare provider. The diagnosis of autism is made from the clinical presentation and the signs and symptoms. There are no laboratory tests which you can do for this disease.
Dr. Asongwe Hexafield pointed out symptoms of autism spectrum disorder and its causes.
The child presents with deficits, there are motor deficits. The child presents with abnormal motor behavioral patterns. We can have tics, we can have flapping movements of the hand and the feet, as well as some physical abnormalities which may point to the underlying condition presenting as the autism spectrum disorder. Autism spectrum disorder can be caused by the causes of autism spectrum disorder either genetic or idiopathic. Genetic means it comes with the gene, you're inherited. Idiopathic means we don't know the cause, or the cause is at this point not identified. We have genetic diseases like the Rett syndrome. We have genetic diseases like the Fragile X syndrome, which will present with the autism spectrum disorder.
The medical expert says the disorder has no medical treatment, but supportive therapy is essential.
We don't have any medication to treat autism. Autism treatment is essentially behavioral and supportive therapy. So the behavioral therapy we have specially trained specialists who are trained in managing children with autism spectrum disorder specific to their needs. For those with speech problems, we have speech therapists which will handle the children, which follow them up, which train them to better express themselves verbally. For those with motor disorders, for those with motor manifestation of the autism spectrum, we have physical therapists which will help for that.
Dr. Hexafield's take-home message to all is?
So for the take-home message from us as the healthcare providers, autism is not something abnormal. Autism is not a taboo. They are normal children, they are normal adults, they are like us. They just need special needs and special attention. The theme of this year is essentially about us treating those with autism as normal people, us not stigmatizing the children with autism, us not trying to treat them as them being abnormal. They are normal people with special needs. We just need to accept them the way they are, and we integrate them into the society. As the SDGs say, everyone is included in the society we live in.
Advancing Neurodiversity and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) is theme for this year's World Autism Awareness Day.
And on to these storage roundups at Divine Mercy Info this morning. The Public Independent Conciliator of the Southwest Region has presented the 2024 annual report describing it as a mitigated one. This report is a comprehensive assessment of the state of affairs between citizens and regional plus municipal councils. The executive summary of the documents was shared with the press on April 1st, 2025 at the institution's office premises. For more details, let's meet Hilarion Tukov.
The Office of the Public Independent Consulate, Southwest Region, April 1st, 2025, pressmen, council officials, flanked by other administrators, converged for the 2024 annual report on the state of relations between citizens and the regional and municipal council services. The Public Independent Consulate of the Southwest Region, Mrs. Ataboni Dorothy Motaze, in keeping with the law which outlined that the independent conciliator must present her report 30 days after submission to the head of state. The Public Independent Conciliator described the 2024 annual report as a mitigated one.
It's a mitigated report. There are areas of satisfaction in urban municipalities, especially municipalities of Fako and Kumba City Council, because they are in the urban centers and there's relative security and they have money to carry out projects. For the typical grassroots population, the remote areas of the Southwest, it is really not easy. And so they have every reason to complain because they have other concerns. The state of the roads does not even merit that contractors should go and reach there, and even if they reach there, it's impossible for them because of the socio-security crisis we have been having. And so the developmental projects are not homogeneous throughout the region, and so people in the rural setting complain more than those in the urban settings.
In her report, the Public Independent Conciliator frowned at the poor developmental nature of the 31 councils in the Southwest region, which is caused by abandonment of projects. She calls on the service providers to be conscious.
Yes, they abandon the projects, but these projects are not carried out in the whole of the municipality. That's what I'm saying. But for those that are awarded and abandoned, it's a call for concern. And I think, like I mentioned, these contracts are not given by this office, and we call on the goodwill of the service providers to try to engage and carry out the activity for which they themselves applied for, so that the population can be impacted. In fact, the purpose of decentralization is that the livelihoods of the grassroots population of the region should be impacted. That is by them feeling that they have basic amenities. If, for instance, a borehole is given, they should see water running for as long as ever. Not that a borehole is given and a few weeks after it no longer runs.
In attendance, among others, the City Mayor of Limbe City Council, the Secretary General of Kumba City Council, the President of the Southwest Regional Assembly. These officials all echoed the works of the Independent Conciliator, Mrs. Ataboni Dorothy Motaze, and her collaborators issued in the 2024 report recommendations to high authorities. Pertinent was the solution for the councils to set up garbage disposal arrangements under the council's hygiene and sanitation department with a symbolic tax fare to household. This, to her, will help to solve the problem of poor waste management in the region. The interactive session between the officials and the press ended in a successful atmosphere. The Office of the Public Independent Conciliator was created since 2020 to examine and amicably settle dispute between users and the regional and council administrators. Mrs. Ataboni Dorothy Motaze has been at the helm of this office for 4 years with a successful pass mark.
And that report wraps up our Divine Mercy Info this morning. And of course, more developing stories will come up at 7 p.m. on our Divine Mercy Prime Time News. So after that, we're going to take on this musical break. And when we come back, we'll be introducing our talking points of the morning. program that comes to you every Mondays to Fridays as from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., bringing you amazing slots to inspire you, to educate you, to entertain you, and of course to inform you. And so we're going to be talking today on what is the one nice thing you've done for someone recently. You want to share your thoughts with us, what it is, what that thing is that you've done for someone that makes you very proud and makes you very fulfilled, that okay, I helped this person out, and at the point where he or she really needed my help. Of course, when we talk of something, it must not be material. You might want to look at some of those services you offer to people out there, those people that will call for your help and you are there to help them. You want to look at small everyday gestures of just offering a compliment to someone. You look nice this morning, you look good, you smell nice, and all of that. Those very small gestures, of course, you are enough. We ourselves should always say that these nice things to ourselves. You should always be able to compliment yourself every now and then. Just say small nice things. Compliment people is very important. It just has a way of igniting joy in their hearts and all of that. Of course, you also want to listen attentively when someone is talking to you. That's also a very nice thing to do or to offer to someone, just a listening ear at the point where they really need you. You also want to look at acts of service. Helping with a task is also very important. Is going to also help that person know that okay, I have this person and this person is always willing to be there for me. You might want to run an errand for someone, maybe a colleague, a family member, your mom, your dad, your siblings might just call, or an elderly person calls, please, I need you to do this for me, I need you to drop this document at this office, or I need you to get this, I need you to pick up this parcel. All of these things, you might just want to run an errand for someone. That's also an act of service, or maybe giving a practical support to somebody out there who is in need of it. If you have the means to help these people, it's always very good to help them, because these very little things matter. I always say the little things matter. It's not the very big things that you do that are going to stick in people's heads, but those little unexpected things that you do to people will always be very important. Of course, when we talk of nice things, it could also be words, emotional support. You could offer someone words of encouragement. It's going to make that person feel very lucky and happy, or just being there for someone in need. Sometimes some people just need people to just stay by them, not necessarily doing anything or offering any service or anything. Just staying there, just your presence alone means a lot to this person. So it's also very important to just make our time to be there for your loved ones. It's very important. When we talk of one nice thing, it must not be material, it must not be you giving that person financial support. Emotional support too is very important. Mental support is very important, to just be there for people when they need us. Of course, we also want to look at thoughtful gifts. Thoughtful gifts are not the very big things that you want to make it look very serious and all that. Just a handwritten note, sometimes it suits the person's heart, it suits the person's mind. You just want to write something nice on the paper and give it to someone out there. It's also very important. You just make them feel happy and feel loved. Just write some very nice words to someone and you drop it on their desk, or you drop it to them in their house. It's very important. You might just want to also give them a small treat, very small treat. Those very little things we think are insignificant are very significant. And you might just want to share something with this person, something you know they would appreciate, something you know they're going to love. You might want to talk to them in some very nice, kind and loving words that are going to just make them feel comfortable around you and just make them feel loved. That's what we are trying to spread, love every day of our lives. We're trying to show or spread hope, share hope out there to the people who are down, those people suffering from low self-esteem, those people suffering from peer pressure, that are being too pressured about their life such that they do not have a hold of their life. So it's very important to do some of these things that are going to help us to be better persons, to just know what to do and when to do them to this person. Some people out there just need this love, they just need a nice word. You are enough, you look good this morning, you can do it. Do not relent your efforts on anything you're doing, because you don't know who is watching you, you don't know who is grabbing or who is who feels encouraged by what you do. You don't know who you're motivating out there with the little things you do. So it's always good to do things with a lot of passion, to do things with a lot of love. Those things that you know are going to help someone out there. Someone out there is watching and waiting, just looking at you and being encouraged to say, okay, I'm going to also start up like this because I look up to this person and the person is doing very well wherever they are in the little things they do. So do not feel discouraged, because you might just be someone's smile out there, you might just be someone's point of motivation out there, and you also want to go out of your way every now and then offering support. You just want to do something unexpected. You know, people, we all have those friends in our life that will always go out of their way for us. You should hold those people very dear, because you might have just one in a lifetime. Those people that are willing to do anything, to just go out of their way at any time to do something for you, something that you're going to appreciate. Not just anything, but something that you need and something that is going to help you in the longest time. Those people will always be willing to go an extra mile, put in extra efforts to see that maybe you're happy, to see that you are where you want to be, to see that you have the things you need to succeed in life. Those persons are very important, and we should not let go of them. You should hold them very dear, because you might just have one of those kind of persons throughout your life, and once you lose them, that's all for you. So let's hold these persons, let's hold people very dear. Let's learn how to practice acts of kindness, those things that you do and you do not seek public recognition, you do not seek praise from anybody. You go into your room, you pray for somebody, you offer help to someone behind closed doors, not the ones that you want the whole world to know you're helping this person out, so that every now and then the person feels vulnerable, the person feels feels like they owe you this obligation of always coming to say thank you and all of that. No, if you want to do something nice to someone, you can do it behind closed doors and stay quiet. You must not just blab it out there. You've done this, you're bragging, I've been doing this for these people and they are not grateful. If you want to do something nice for somebody, of course it should be out of your heart of hearts, and you're doing it without expecting any payback from anybody. You're not expecting anybody to come back to you and pay you back because you did something for them. You did it out of your own yourself, maybe your own kindness. You felt the need of helping these people at this time. So it's very important for us to do these things. Let's not always depend on people to come back to us saying thank you every now and then for the things we do. And of course, you want to help somebody, it should be genuine and sincere. You should do these things sincerely and genuinely, not paying attention to the fact that someone is watching you out there, or someone owes you any thanks, or someone owes you their life because you've been helping them to grow from strength to strength. So it's just important to be sincere and genuine when helping people. Of course, do not brag or seek praise. That's what I said. So you don't have to brag about it. I've done this for you, and you cannot say thank you. You're doing it in the eyes of God. If you find a thing pleasing in the eyes of God, you could just go ahead and do it for this person without considering whether or not they say thank you, whether they appreciate. Of course, if they're accepting this help from you, they're also going to say a prayer for you. Prayer is very important for you today. So you also want to be very engaging when you're helping somebody. You're doing something nice for somebody out there. It's not just about just going there and handing over that thing to them. You also want to listen to their challenges. You want to be there for them. It's not just about giving me something now and then you get lost. You want to follow them up to ensure that, okay, this thing is helping them and they're actually excelling in this part of their life. This is what they wanted to do, and of course they are doing it and they are excelling very, very well with that. You know, offering nice things to people can also be reciprocal. Not you expecting that they should offer something back to you, but just you expecting them to be happy. It also gives you that joy that, okay, at least I helped this person and the person feels fulfilled as well. Once they are fulfilled, of course, it gives you that soothing feeling. You also feel loved. You also feel like, okay, I did something good today and I'm very happy with it. So maybe you want to share your thoughts with us. Share with us one nice thing you've done for somebody recently and you want to let us know about it. Maybe it's a service you offer to this person. Maybe it was money, maybe it was material things, maybe it was just emotional support. You want to let us know about some of these things. things you offer to that person. In a moment, we'll be having praise review. But before we have that, let's get another musical break. And when we come back, we hope we prepare our praise review slot is ready to be served. Thank you very much for that beautiful musical interlude, Jesse. That was a beautiful one there. Of course, we will be having a praise review in a moment. So before we get there, you might want to share with us your thoughts about a talking point. What is one nice thing you've done for somebody recently? You want to share with us what that nice thing has been, what you've shared with somebody, what you've done for somebody, the service you've rendered to somebody, the emotional support you've given somebody. You might want someone out there to be encouraged or to be motivated by what you've done. So you might want to share your thoughts with us. Like we said, you have to do, there's some very simple things you have to do which you might think are not significant, but then they are very, very significant. Things that are very, very helpful to these persons, and you might just want to put a smile on someone's face out there. So we have Yannick Funky in the studio this morning to do maybe to review the press for us, to tell us what is making headline news in the papers this morning. So good morning, Yannick Funky.
Hello, Mado. Good morning to you. You look so stunning today. Yeah. Happy Lent. Is anything happy about Lent? All right.
We're supposed to be suffering with Jesus. So throughout this Lent, there is no joy. It's just suffering and praying for a better days when the Easter season comes.
Exactly.
Okay, so maybe you want to tell us what is making headline news in the papers this morning.
Yeah. Today, Thursday. Lucky enough, we have some very interesting stories on the papers. First, good news. I'll tell you some good news. I'll tell you some bad news today. Let me start with the good news. I want to tell you. Now, Biak has unveiled some new coins. So we now have 200 franc coin.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God. So those taxi drivers who are disturbing us, now we are equipped.
Yes.
We are equipped with coins. We are no longer going to give you 500 franc coin or 500 franc note.
So it means, does this mean fair? The fair now, the 100?
No, it has nothing to do with the fair.
No, I'm saying because 100 might become very insignificant. You know, lately you can hardly pay 100 francs.
Well, it has no direct proportionality with fair. Yes, Biak's unveiling of coins has nothing to do with fair. Fair's increment came as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy by the government. So once the fuel became high, so fair prices, fair for taxis also became high. So it's not about the coins. But now, how does it have an effect with the coins? It's because when you give a taxi driver 500 note and say you want 200 francs to be deducted, they say I don't have change, so I'm going to give you the augmented price, which is 350 francs. And so it's really choky. Sometimes even some passengers end up having 100 francs.
Even just when you go to the market, it's very difficult for you to have coins. So
it's painful.
It's going to make life very easy.
So those extorters, those who extort, they're no longer going to have a free meal because we are now equipped with some coins.
I know.
Yes. I wish we had 350 francs coins. You know, before this, around March 2nd or so, they had done some announcements that from the 1st of April, they're going to unveil the coins. So they showed us 350 francs coin. I thought we were going to have it. So now these taxi drivers will not have their way. But it's all the same. We have 200 francs coins, so we are not equipped. At least we have some more coins that will circulate. We pray that we don't have those from the Asia. We don't know the country precisely to come and gather these coins to go and use for their jewelry. We pray. So we are going to be very, very serious about this. That's the good news. Do we still have another good news? I don't think so. We have a bad news. You know, we talked yesterday about government re-strategizing to curb the insurgency of Boko Haram. Yes. So this morning, we are getting information from the papers that one soldier still died.
Oh no.
So there was a suicide bomb attack in Walgo that killed a soldier. So we're going to discover that. And then Joseph Beti Asomo has been speaking with the soldiers. Yes, he was in Walgo yesterday. He was speaking with the soldiers. We'll get it from the papers. And then also another interesting story is that the population of Baba One is begging on government to create a military base in Baba One so as to curb separatist insurgency there. So they are pleading with government to see how they can have this military base. So Eileen, I keep calling Eileen. So Magdalene. Also, we have this other story of the Sundance issue and Jean de Momo. Yes, he interfered into the Sundance issue, and then the presidency told him to only discuss this issue if the presidency gives him authority. And then he replies with a mea culpa that I'm going to comply with whatever what you say. So we have some developments also in that story. We're going to find out from the paper. So these and more will constitute our press today.
Okay, thank you very much, Yannick Funky, and I'm sure the viewers as well are very excited to get more details on that. So let's dive straight away to our press review for the morning.
Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us on our press review this morning. Today is Thursday, the 3rd of April, 2025. We're happy having you on board. Now, we begin our press review this morning with the lone English daily that publishes 7 days a week, the Guardian Post. It states on its banner headline that the population of Baba One demands military base to frustrate Amber incursions. And they blame invasion of village by fighters on topography, and also vow to collaborate with security forces to make community unlivable for fighters who commit atrocities elsewhere and then seek refuge in Baba One. Well, you can read more on this story by grabbing a copy of the Guardian Post newspaper. Now, on the ear of the Guardian Post newspaper, Customs and the National Football Federation, FECAFOOT, have sealed deal to combat counterfeit FA brand products. That is to counterfeit FA brand product. How that is going to work, you're going to read more on the Guardian Post newspaper. Now, there's an editorial on the head of the Guardian Post newspaper. When CPDM dog bites master. Well, how deep is the bite? You can only find that from the Guardian Post newspaper. Now, we have Cameroon Insider newspaper. That's the next paper we are reviewing on this day's edition of Press Review. On its banner headline, it says, Yaoundé ongoing waste removal efforts, the ultimate stench. Now, during his tour of some parts of the nation's capital on March 29, the city mayor of Yaoundé, Luke Messi Atangana, gave waste collectors 3 days to rid the city of garbage. Some neighborhoods have in the past weeks been overflowing with rubbish, leading to unsanitary conditions, health risks, and environmental degradation. You can read more by grabbing a copy of the Cameroon Insider newspaper. Now, on the head of the Cameroon Insider newspaper, it says, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo is going to invest some money in Cameroon. The aim of the investment by Olusegun Obasanjo is to help strengthen trade between Cameroon and Nigeria, support local producers, create an environment favorable for regional development, and establish the deep water port of Kribi as a stop of cross-border commercial activities. Read more by grabbing a copy of Cameroon Insider. Still on Cameroon Insider's head, it says Defense Minister Joseph Beti Asomo is in the far north region to boost troop morale. The visit taking place from April 2 to 3 follows the recent onslaught on a military base in the locality of Wolgo in neighboring Nigeria, where 12 Cameroon soldiers were killed and 12 others sustained injuries. Well, read more by grabbing a copy of the Cameroon Insider. Now we go to Municipal Update newspaper. On the banner headline of Municipal Update newspaper, it is now doing an assessment of the reconstruction, that is the presidential plan for the reconstruction of the Northwest and the Southwest region. It is 5 years old and it is now looking at the impact years on. And there you have the refurbishment of some establishments and the construction of others that were done with the budget of the PPDR, Presidential Plan for the Reconstruction and Development of Northwest and Southwest Region. Now, on the foot of Municipal Update newspaper, it says the Miami Traditional Council has distanced itself from village protests and is welcoming the new priest, that is Seseko Chief Bisong, who is now the chief of Miami. Well, you want to read more, grab a copy of this newspaper. Rehabilitation of Tiko, Kribi and Betwa airports is uncertain. Well, that's another insider there from the Municipal Update newspaper. Now, on the ear of Municipal Update newspaper, it says a devastating fire has ravaged some shops in the Dubai Center in Kumba. Well, you want to read more, grab a copy of Municipal Update. We go to the Post Weekender newspaper. That's the next paper we are reviewing. On its banner headline, it says BIAC introduces new coins with enhanced security in SEMA countries. The Bank for the Central African States, BIAC, has promised to release 500 million in coins yearly to stem shortages. And there you have it: 500 franc coins, 200 franc coins, 100 franc coins, 50 franc coins, 25 franc coin, 10 franc coins, 5 franc coins, 2 franc coins, and 1 franc coin. These are the coins that have been released by the Bank for Central African States, BIAC. Now, also on the Post newspaper this morning, on the ear, it is still talking about the devastating fire outbreak that has destroyed business premises at Dubai Center in Kumba. You want to read more, grab a copy of the Post newspaper. Now, on the chest of the Post newspaper, it says medics worried over increasing number of tuberculosis cases in the Northwest region. Anti-TB campaign has been intensified in schools and in prisons. Well, read more by grabbing a copy of the Post newspaper. Now, we're going to leave the Post newspaper and then enter the National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune newspaper. Cameroon Tribune newspaper says, to boost military morale, the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Beti Asomo, is in Mora, that is in the far north region, and of course his mission is very clear: to boost military morale and also to give some new strategies to curb the insurgency of the terrorist sect Boko Haram that is destroying life and livelihoods in the far north region. And now the Cameroon Tribune newspaper says, in transmitting the message of condolences and comforts from the head of state and chief of the armed forces to the troops, the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Beti Asomo, was in Wolgo yesterday and paid tribute to the fallen soldiers and also boost the morale of the military that is present there. That's the soldiers that are present there, and indicated a readjustment to the new threats that was inevitable. So the threat level has been increased from normal to high and to critical, and so the military will take dispositions there. Now, still on Cameroon Tribune newspaper this day, the Indomitable Lions, the under-17, must win today. They have a match today and they have to win that match if they are deeming any hope to qualify. The Cadet Lions absolutely need victory in their day 2 outing today against South Africa. Anything short of that will compromise their chances in the competition as well as qualification for the World Cup. Of course, the Cadet Lions have to prove their worth just like the adult Lions did. Well, the presidential plan for the reconstruction of the Northwest and the Southwest region and the Far North region is 5 years old today, and Cameroon Tribune is talking something about that. And according to the paper, it says, since its creation on April 3, 2020, the presidential plan for the reconstruction of the crisis-hit Northwest and the Southwest regions has seen great strides on the ground. Although much remains to be done, the population, however, salutes the path covered thus far. Well, read more by grabbing a copy of Cameroon Tribune newspaper. Now, Emergence Quotidien newspaper is the paper we're reviewing next. And he's talking about the CPDM party, and he says the Politburo equation, or the political bureau equation. After appointments to the Central Committee, attention is now turned to this body. Many of those members have already died. Well, they need some change. Well, grab a copy of Emergence Quotidien or Quotidien Emergence newspaper and read more from these. Douala Come back to the story. That is Camto in court to teach court tech entrepreneurs. Well, Camto has been talking with tech entrepreneurs to see how they can be relevant in the society. Well, that's the story happening in Douala. 350 other agents have been dismissed from the civil service. These as the government is in a strong campaign to remove ghost workers in the civil service. That's another story there on that newspaper there. Now, we leave that paper and we go on to Mutasong newspaper. Mutasong newspaper comes back to the disbursement of new coins in the Semak region, and this paper says, according to this paper, it says securities, or that is sources of erosion of these precious metals. The new range of coins from Biak will not work in these machines. The Bank of Central African States will inject 500 million coins each year into the Semak market. Now, it says this new metal, this new coin contains some metals that may not be able to be detected by metal machines, especially in banks and other places. Well, this is another angle that is picked up there by Mutasong newspaper. Well, you want to grab a copy of this paper and then make good reading of it. Now, Andre Onana is 29 years old. Let's go to the Info Asho newspaper. Info Asho newspaper says Andre Onana is 29 years old and Manchester United is grateful for the great strides this indomitable lion has done in saving Manchester United of big shame. And so, on his 29th birthday, Manchester United sends him a very great support there to him. Read more on Info Asho newspaper. Let's leave Info Asho newspaper to this other newspaper, La Meteo newspaper. La Meteo newspaper comes back to the bishop's call on the medium. That's the bishop's pastoral letter. And presidential and regional elections 2025, bishops call on the media. The pastoral letter from the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon, issued on March 29, calls on journalists to publish quality information and resist unethical practice or pressures without resorting to misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and defamation, as well as tribalist remarks. That's a strong caution there to journalists from the National Episcopal Conference, or the bishops of Cameroon. We leave the paper to La Nouvelle Expression newspaper this morning. La Nouvelle Expression newspaper says what the union demands from Yaoundé. That's the special status given to teachers. Remember that at least 9 government ministers are discussing with trade union of teachers, that's a teachers trade union, to see how they can suspend their strike action. And so La Nouvelle Expression says the teachers are demanding something. Let's find it out. In this election year, the lot of the chalk, that is teachers, want to put pressure on the government in Yaoundé to finally obtain what they have been requesting for decades within the framework of the special status of teachers, which is in vain. In particular, the salary index point at 400, the certification competition to assess positions of responsibility in the establishments, among others, are some of the things these teachers are demanding for. Well, you want to read more? Then grab a copy of this newspaper, La Nouvelle Expression newspaper here. Now, we leave La Nouvelle Expression newspaper to Le Jour newspaper this morning. Le Jour newspaper is talking about a tete-a-tete confrontation between Paul Biya and Maurice Kamto. Paul Biya and Maurice Kamto, cavernous explorations of the Bamileke problem on the edge of game theory. The openly twilight nature of the 40-year regime in place leads more than ever to imagine the dynamics of consolidations or change that are at work in Cameroonian public sphere with a view to the next October's meeting, and especially for the aftermath. The Bamileke tribe is at the forefront of the war between Kamto and President Paul Biya. Well, let us find out more on this story by grabbing a copy of Le Jour newspaper. Now, Le Jour newspaper also says FENASCO A Games, the finals of FENASCO A Games, has been postponed yet again. Well, let us find out why it is being postponed. We can get more by grabbing a copy from Le Jour newspaper. Well, that, of course, is what we're going to be getting there. Now, let's go to Info Matin newspaper. It comes back to the visit of Joseph Betty Asomo to the far north region. He was in Wargo, and also he's in Mora at the moment on the very high instruction of President Paul Biya. Joseph Betty Asomo is in Mora in the far north region, where he is talking and boosting the morals of soldiers, as well as having discussions with the multinational joint task force in the Lake Chad Basin. The objective is to convey the families of the deceased soldiers condolences, that's the head of state's condolences, as well as wishes of speedy recovery to those who sustain injuries. Read more by grabbing a copy of Info Matin newspaper. The Minister of Scientific Research and Innovation, Magdalene Chuente, is having a discussion here. That's another story picked up there by Info Matin newspaper. The paper says Dr. Magdalene Chuente scrupulously applied the government's instructions. This is one of the recommendations of the Minister of Scientific Research and Innovations to the officials recently appointed by decree, by the Prime Ministerial Decree to the Central Commission of the Ministry. And the minister has said they must work together with the policies so they can implement government's new instructions to that ministry. We're going to round up a press review this morning with L'Oeil du Sahel newspaper. L'Oeil du Sahel newspaper has a sad page here. A Cameroonian soldier has been killed in a mine explosion in Wargo. This comes days after, well, we're going to L'Oeil du Sahel, yes. Days after 12 other soldiers died, this Cameroonian soldier was killed in a mine explosion there in Wargo again in Nigeria. Well, you want to read more, grab a copy of L'Oeil du Sahel newspaper them. Of course, dear viewers, we're going to put a cap on our press review this morning on this note. We want to thank you very much for watching. We sure shall be together again tomorrow for the weekend edition of our newspaper, where we always urge you to grab a copy of these papers and make read some of the interesting stories. Remember, if you're not informed, you're deformed. But if you're informed, you're transformed. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Yannick Funky, for reviewing the papers for us this morning. And of course, there are very interesting and intriguing stories found on the papers this day. You might want to get a good read of them. But before, I just want to pinpoint on some of the stories this morning. I'm looking at garbage in Yaoundé. You know, throughout March, I think throughout the month of March, Yaoundé was being echoed on the papers like every week. City of shame, city of garbage, to the extent where TikTokers or social media influencers will go to in front of this garbage and do challenge. It was a challenge for every social media influencer to get to this garbage and take a selfie post on their social media handle. I think this echoed a lot of things to the mayor of of Yaoundé, that's Luc Messi Atangana, and I think he came out last 2 weeks on the paper saying he needs a huge sum of money to clear.
He needs a huge sum of money.
Yeah, to clear garbage yearly. So, and again, coming today and we're hearing he's giving the garbage disposers 3 days to clear the garbage. Does it mean something has been done for the city to be free from all these health related risk with garbage everywhere in the city?
Well, I can't answer that question with authenticity, but one thing I want to tell you is that some efforts have been made to ensure that it's unfortunate. The nation's political capital is very dirty. And that it's even an understatement to say it is dirty. It is stinking. Yes. I mean, you only need to fly a little, you know. Those who fly, you know, fly high. You need to fly just a little altitude. And then, I mean, not very far, and then send your nose streets. I mean, the stench that comes out, you know, it is terrible. Yeah. And it is unheard of for a nation's political capital like us. And just to say, it is a microcosm of the macrocosm of dead pollution in Cameroon. Yes. Because every city you move in Cameroon, it is terribly dirty. Douala, the economic capital, is in fact right in the hub. Opposite the University of Douala, it is a pile of dirt that welcomes you. Everybody moves with face masks as if we have another COVID-19. It is terrible. This is Boya, the city of legendary hospitality. What welcomes you is pothole and dirt. In fact, Cameroon now is priding itself as Africa's in miniature in dirt. We have all kinds of dirt in all shades and sizes. In fact, if we could convert our trash to cash, then Cameroon will be the richest city in the world. Because we have so much dirt, we don't even know what to do with it. In fact, if there was a method to convert our trash to cash, Cameroon will be very rich. It's unfortunate that we can only be noted for the wrong things. Why can Cameroon not be noted for being clean? In 2012, the Ministry of Environment and Nature Protection came with the non-biodegradable plastics not to be thrown and all of that. Any plastic of less than 60 microns not to be thrown. What has become of that? Is it that we talk the talk and don't walk the talk? Because it is they themselves who are culpable, who are compromising all of this. It's unfortunate what is happening to our city. We are hit with hardship, so much hardship. We can't even, in fact, people can't even eat. Then on top of that, we have debt on top of it. What is happening? It's so painful. And I think that this government has to be serious for once. It should be a national concern. The Prime Minister talked about it to clear the trash. But what has been done? We only talk the talk, not walking the talk. It's unfortunate. So something has to be done. It's a national emergency. The Ministry of Territorial Administration has to come out. They have to send the military on the road to clear up the piles of debt, because it's a national emergency. When we pick up an epidemic now, it is going to cause so much cash issue. We don't have money. It's going to cause so much issue financially. So a stitch in time saves 9. Let us try as much as possible to clear this debt. It's very important. Boya in particular, there is pile of debt almost everywhere. Go to Bokwango, people are selling kwakoko, people are selling potatoes just beside pile of debt. In fact, you can even buy some pack of debt and buy your food stuff and go to the house. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Okay, thank you very much, Yannick. And I'm also looking at fire outbreak every now and then. And you know, on I think Sunday we had an outbreak here in Boya where there was a great loss. And again, we hear in Kumba. What is it that we don't have a fire suppression company in Boya? Because I think if this thing was made available, I think it will not, the outbreak will not be too severe. We're talking of businesses and it's working on the economy of the country. So I think a lot has to be done on these fire suppression companies around the city or maybe FACO also, because I don't think we have any around. You see people suffering from fire outbreak and then they are moving here and there with small buckets of water. Before they want to get there, the fire is already all over the place. So I think
it's 2025 and we're still talking about how to quench fire outbreak, and people are still using the artisanal methods to quench fire in this country. In fact, I quite remember in 1997 when there was a heavy fire devastation in the Limbe main market and people were using sand and water to quench the fire, and it instead helped to envelop many parts. In 2025, that same thing is happening. What is happening in this country? We are retrogressing. That is the point. Boya has not got a fire extinguishing company. Yes, one in, there was supposed to be a FACO, fire extinguishing department. How do they call them again? How do they call Safe Pompier in English again? Fire extinguishers, you know. There was supposed to be one in Mutengene to cater for the entire FACO, but that place has been converted to now a military base. So what is happening to our country? What is happening? So we don't take priority over certain things. Look at what happened in Bonduma. People were using artisanal methods to quench fire of high degree that can even swallow the population that is there. And people were using buckets of water and sand to quench such a heavy flame. Almost the same thing. Kumba has got a fire extinguishing company. I don't know if they survived in the debate. It really caused some damage. So I think that something has to be done. Something has to be done. I mean, there is almost entirely nothing to be talked about that one can really be proud about. Because every day you see things that just get you so angry, so concerned. I think that something has to be done. Especially, Boya is a big city. It is having skyscrapers now. Skyscrapers are cropping up here and there and all of that. Should there be a fire outbreak? Remember that Boya is also sitting on top of an active volcano that we can have earthquake any moment. Remember that if there is any vibration, it can lead to fire outbreak. So what is going to happen? So we have to take active mechanisms, and even the town planning mechanism is very poor. You know, Moliko, I don't know any point where for the fire extinguishers, I'm always calling fire extinguishers, the firefighters can even connect their water, because actually they don't come with all the water in the world. They need points to also connect water so that they can quench the fire. Do we even have the point here in Boya? We are even cried of water. I'm sure if the firefighters even come, we use their water to go and bathe, because we even need the water. People will even say, give us this water to go and bathe, because there's just no water. So we are having triple problem. Everywhere you just turn around, you see problem. It's unfortunate. We can only look up to God, because hope and faith is what will drive us all this social scourge that we have.
Definitely hope and faith is all we need. So we say thank you very much, Yannick Funky, for being with us today, and definitely we will be together again tomorrow for the weekend edition. So you do have a great day.
Thank you very much, Magdalene. I'm going to see you again tomorrow.
Definitely.
Keep doing the great work.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
I'm your number one fan. We are watching you.
Thank you very much.
Right.
And that was Yannick Funky for our press review this morning. Of course, you know what to do. You rush to the newspaper stands and grab a copy of the papers this day. Get more of what is making news on the papers this morning. We're going to take on this very brief break, and when we come back, we'll get to our health and beauty tips this morning.
Welcome to another edition of the Slot Health and Beauty on Salve Vicinus with me, Matilda Bisong. Today I bring to you yet another interesting aspect as far as beauty is concerned, as far as beauty in general is concerned. Today I want us to look at something which is not very strange, but one or two persons may tend to neglect these things as far as beauty is concerned. But I'm here today to tell you about some essentials you should have in your wardrobe as a man or as a woman, especially if you want to be elegant. Some essentials of wardrobe for men and women. That is what we want to look at this morning regarding this slot of today, beauty. So there are some essentials which we consider them to be very important, which should not be missing from your wardrobe, whether you are a man or you are a woman. So it goes both ways. It's not limited only to women, and as well as it's not limited only to men. So what I'll be giving you today, I'll be highlighting certain things that men should have in their wardrobe as well as women should have in their wardrobe. And so I've grouped these items. I've grouped them into different headings, and when I give you a heading, I'm going to break them down. So the very first group of essentials as a lady and as a man you should have in your wardrobe are underwear essentials. For women, you need to invest in bras. You need to have different types of bras, the strapless, and also different colors and different shapes and sizes, especially the ones that actually suit your bust very well. You have to know the size of your bust, and then you know the kind of bra to get that will size your bust. And of course, you have to choose different colors of bras as well, especially colors that will enhance your skin tone, that will pop up your skin tone. And these two colors that can easily pop up your skin tone are black and nude. So for women, you have to invest in bras. That's the very first thing as a woman you should have in your wardrobe. Another thing as a woman you should have in your wardrobe should be nipple covers. The nipple covers, you should have it in your wardrobe. Sometimes you may not want to wear a complete bra, but you do not want your nipple to portray on your dress when you dress up. So you need a nipple cover for your wardrobe. Another one as ladies or as women which you must have in your wardrobe are pants. You need to have pants in your wardrobe, different kinds of panties. You can go for the cotton pants, you can go for the lace, you can go for the bandless pants, and there is something we call, in local parlance, we call it kolang, but the English word for that particular dress is, you can call it tights or you can call it skin control. So you need that too in your wardrobe. As a lady, you should not go about without having tights or skin control, which is kolang as we call it locally, because you need especially kolang to wear inside your dress, especially dresses that see through. You cannot just wear dresses that see through without you wearing your tights or your skin control. So you can have different kinds of pants as well as the tights or skin control, which is in local parlance kolang. For the men, let me turn now to the men. You must have boxer shorts and pants. The men, you must have boxer shorts and pants. This is very important for the men Some people may not be, or some men may not be comfortable with pants, but the boxer shorts, you cannot go without it. So you can get pants for yourself as well as the boxer shorts, because for the men, they wear pants for different pants when they are wearing different trousers or different attires, and then boxers to go for different attires as well. So you need to have those two. You equally need to have singlets in your wardrobe as a man. You should have singlets in your wardrobe. This should not be missing in your wardrobe as a man. So those two things, boxer shorts and pants, and then singlets, very important for the men. The next set of things we have grouped, which we are going to present to you, which a man and a woman should have in their wardrobe, are pants and shorts. Pants and shorts, I'm not talking about the panties now. Pants, we are referring now to trousers. For the men, you try to have a pair of trousers. You can either go for the black, the navy blue, the brown, which can help you pair or match it with any other outfit like the top, shorts too, and then joggers. Then let's move to the next category of things I've grouped here. We move to dresses. The kind of dresses which is essential for a woman and a man to have in their wardrobe. For the ladies, you need to have a little black dress. You need a little black dress in your closet. And then you equally need the free-flowing dresses. Free-flowing dresses, the ones that are not very fitting. The ones that are not very tight. Because it's not every day you wake up and you feel like, okay, I want to wear something fitting, I want to wear something corporate. No, there are days you feel like you should just appear in something free. So a free-flowing dress, sometimes you need them. You should have it in your wardrobe too. And then do not say I'm not a lover of Ankara. At least even if you are not a lover of Ankara, you should have at least one or two Ankara dresses in your closet as a lady. So you should have these three essential dresses: the free flowing dress, a little black dress, and of course an Ankara dress, which may be two in your wardrobe if you are not really a lover of Ankara dresses. And then the shirts and tops, which fall under dresses as well. Every man and every woman should have a white button-down shirt, long sleeve shirt, which you button going downwards. That is what we describe as a white button-down shirt for both men and women. And for the men and women, this can be styled differently, especially with ladies who have scarves. You can style your white button-down shirt differently, especially if you want to appear corporate, if you want to appear casual. For the men, you should have plain neutral color t-shirts in your closet. Colors like black, white, gray, navy blue can best suit for men, and for ladies, as much as you have the casual tops to match maybe with your jean trousers and your shorts, you should also have the dressy blouse, the dressy ladies blouse, which you can match with your different panties. And then another thing for the ladies, among the dresses you should have are bodysuits. Bodysuits are what we will commonly term to be swimming pants. The kind of swimming pants we have, these bodysuits, you should have them in your closet, at least one, like a lady, because when you want to wear something like a blazer, if you want to appear in a blazer or you want to look corporate in your blazer jacket, you will need something like the bodysuit to wear inside. So at least one bodysuit too is needed for a lady in your wardrobe. And then when you are at home, maybe you're doing some house chores, casual activities at home, you need the tank tops to wear them too, alongside your trousers or your shorts which you use to carry out house chores. The next group of items we give you for ladies, we have termed this group of items as orders. These are other items which you need in your closet as a man and as a woman. The very first thing, as a lady, you need in your wardrobe is an exercising outfit. It's an exercising outfit which you can wear to the gym, or when you want to go out just around the community exercising on the street. You do not want to appear in your regular day wear when you are doing sports. So you should have a sport outfit, an exercise outfit in your closet. Another thing a lady should have is night wears. Night wears. Some ladies, what they wear during the day is what they wear to sleep. That is very wrong, because at night you need something that is free. So you cannot wear what you wear during the day to sleep with at night. So as a lady, you should have night wears in your wardrobe, and they can be different types: silk, cotton, depending on you. And then as a lady as well, you should have a hair bonnet, you should have handkerchiefs, and you should have at least a face cap as well. The next thing are accessories. Accessories for ladies, you should have a bag, a handbag, at least one. And if you can afford more than one, then you can get two, the black and the brown, and maybe if you can afford a third one, it should be a colored bag. So you should have these 3 colors in your closet. But if you cannot afford, then one handbag, which is black, should be in your closet. You should equally have belts in your closet, different sizes, different designs that can go with your dressing. And then for ladies, sunglasses should be part and parcel of your wardrobe, and then you have a wristwatch as well. Now for the men, what we see displayed on the screen, for the men, you should have cufflinks. Cufflinks are essential for men, especially when they have to wear their shirts and other things. Then socks too should not be missing from your wardrobe. You can have socks of different kinds, the full socks, the ankle socks, and what have you. Then belts as well should not be missing from a man's wardrobe, not forgetting a tie. So men, you should have all of these accessories in your wardrobe. Let us come to footwear. The shoes that men and women need to have at least one in their wardrobe. On our screen there you have slippers. That is for the ladies. You should have a pair of slippers in your wardrobe. You should equally have a pair of sneakers. You should have a pair of sneakers as well in your wardrobe. And then you should have at least a pair of high heels. A pair of high heels too is needed for a lady, not forgetting flats. It can be flats. The flats can be shoes. It can be sandals. So these 3 essential things, or 4 essential things as far as footwear is concerned for ladies, you should have at least one high heel, at least a flat shoe or a sandals, a slippers, and of course sneakers. So you should have these 4 items as a lady, one of each in your closet. For the men, I think they are the same. You should have sneakers in your wardrobe, and of course the shoes which you can dress with to look corporate, at least one pair in your closet. Let's look at jewelry. Jewelry is another item which should be found in your closet as a lady especially. You should have a pair of earrings, a little neck piece, and of course bracelets or bangles to go with. So as a lady, you should have these, which you can match with basically or literally everything you have in your closet. If you can afford just one piece which is simple and can go with all of that, it will be very nice for you. Remember that neck piece it plays a job of just enhancing the neck area where it is placed. So, and for men, you can get a mini bracelet and a simple gold watch, a simple gold chain watch. And the last item a man and a woman should have, do not say it's a woman thing, because someday even as a man you may have need for it. You should have a mini sewing kit in your closet. A mini sewing kit should be found in your closet, and in this mini sewing kit you should have thread, sewing thread of different colors. You should have a needle, you should have safety pins, you should have buttons, you should have all of those items contained in a mini sewing box. Someday you may just need a safety pin to pin up something on your dress so that it stands out and it corrects that little error that may have erupted in your dressing. Another day you may just want to pick up a dress and you discover that it is torn at some part of it and you need to stitch the dress. Do you go out then looking for thread and needle or to beg from your neighbor? No. So you need a mini sewing kit in your closet such that if you are faced with any of these situations, you can just go to the kit and you pick up what you need to sort out your problem regarding dressing at that point in time. So this is what I prepared for you this morning. Hope it made sense to you. And as a lady and as a gentleman who wants to be elegant, you're going to put all of these into practice. If there is something I've mentioned which is missing in your closet and you have discovered that from time to time you find yourself wanting of that particular item, you need to go get it and make your closet complete so that you will not find yourself wanting next time you want to dress up. So this has been Beauty on Salve Vicinus, where we treated essentials of the wardrobe for men and women. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much for treating us today, Matilda, on essentials of a wardrobe for men and women, and of course all the viewers out there watching. I'm sure there's something missing in your wardrobe. You could just quickly rush to the markets this day and get these essentials because they're going to serve you for a long time. Before we leave you this morning, we have one person celebrating their birthday today. That person is Wongibe Garrett. We say happy birthday to you, Wongibe Garrett, and many more amazing years. May God continue to direct your steps every step of the way. May He guide you through life's challenges. May He see you through all your endeavors, and of course give you many more years. May you be outstanding among your peers. Enjoy your day today. So we thank you all for watching and being part of the program this morning. Thank all those that are watching us from Ebolowa, Fombot, Bamenda, Limbetiko. You all make the program very interesting. Keep watching Divine Mercy Radio Television, and we also say a big thank you to our broadcaster this day, Jesse, for making the program a success. I've been Magdalene Wondo. Stay tuned to Divine Mercy Radio Television and remember to do something nice for someone today. Do have a great day.